It was almost midnight when Daniel Reyes, a 36-year-old single dad, was driving home from his late janitorial shift. The streets were empty, the rain pounding hard against his windshield. He always took the long route home along the riverbank. Some habits die hard. His 7-year-old daughter, Lily, always said the river lights looked like diamonds floating in the dark, and he liked that image. As Daniel crossed the old steel bridge, his headlights caught someone in the water. At first, he thought it was debris washed down from the storm, but then the shape moved. His heart lurched. Without thinking twice, he slammed the brakes, jumped out, and ran toward the edge. The icy wind sliced through his wet clothes as he dove into the black current. His hands reached for the figure, and when he finally pulled her close, he saw her face, pale, bloodied, but young. She was wearing a torn police uniform. He dragged her to the shore, gasping for breath. Her lips were blue, pulse faint. A gunshot wound marred her side. She barely whispered, "Don't trust anyone," before losing consciousness. Daniel froze. He could call the police, but what if they were involved? Her last words were desperate, terrified. Instead, he scooped her up in his arms, ran to his old truck, and sped off toward home, praying she would survive the night. As the storm raged, a single father made a decision that would change his life and shake the city's entire police force. Back at his small house, Daniel laid the woman on the couch. Lily peeked from her bedroom door, clutching her teddy bear. "Daddy, who is she?" "Someone who needs help," he whispered. "Go back to bed, sweetie." He tore old bedsheets into bandages, cleaned her wound with the little medical supplies he had, and stitched her up the best he could. She was tough, breathing weakly but steady. When dawn came, Daniel examined her police badge. It read Officer Maria Cruz, Metro PD. He turned on the morning news. A breaking headline flashed. "Police officer missing after undercover operation turns violent." Daniel's stomach dropped. She was the missing cop everyone was looking for. But why had she been shot, and by whom? Hours later, Maria stirred awake, eyes filled with panic. "Where am I?" "You're safe. I found you in the river." Her gaze darted to the badge on the table. "You shouldn't have done that," she murmured. "They'll come for me and for you." "Who?" Daniel demanded. She hesitated. "Cops, but not the kind you can trust." That night, Daniel hid her in the basement, sealing the door behind an old cabinet. He told Lily that their guest had gone home. But as he watched from the window, an unmarked black car drove slowly past his house and stopped for several minutes before moving on. Someone already knew she was alive. The next few days were tense. Maria's strength slowly returned, and she began to trust Daniel. She told him fragments of her story. "I was working undercover," she explained quietly. "A drug operation run by a police task force, only it wasn't about justice. They were stealing evidence, running their own side deals. I found out and tried to expose them. They shot me before I could go public." Daniel felt his blood run cold. "You mean dirty cops are running the city?" She nodded. "And now they think I'm dead. That gives us time." They hatched a plan. Maria needed her encrypted flash drive hidden in her car, which had sunk somewhere near the riverbank. Daniel agreed to find it that night. He left Lily with a neighbor, returned to the scene, and dove into the cold water once again. When his flashlight cut through the murky depths, he saw the car resting near the rocks, inside Maria's evidence bag. As he surfaced, a beam of light hit him. Someone was there. A voice barked, "Freeze!" A man in a police jacket aimed a gun at him. Daniel's instincts took over. He dived under, swam to the other side, and crawled through the reeds until he reached his truck. Bullets splashed behind him. Whoever that was, they weren't there to help. Maria decoded the files from the flash drive. Audio recordings, photos, transaction logs, names. Dozens of officers were involved, including high-ranking officials. Daniel stared in disbelief. "They'll kill anyone who knows this," she said grimly. Before they could decide their next move, they heard footsteps outside. The door creaked. Daniel grabbed a wrench. The basement door burst open. 3 armed men in plain clothes stormed in. "End of the road, sweetheart," one sneered. Maria kicked a gun out of his hand while Daniel tackled another. The small basement erupted in chaos, grunts, gunfire, broken glass. Daniel managed to knock one man out cold, but Maria was grazed again. Together, they barely escaped through a back window into the pouring rain. They hid in an abandoned gas station outside town. Daniel treated her wound with trembling hands. "You saved my life," she said softly. He smiled faintly. "Guess we're even." But neither knew that Lily, frightened by the noise earlier, had called 911, unaware that the call would alert the wrong people. The next day, the headlines broke. Leaked files expose police corruption ring. Captain arrested in massive sting. The flash drive had made it through. The FBI confirmed the evidence and the entire task force was dismantled. Maria's name was cleared. Daniel, badly injured, woke up in a hospital bed. Lily sat beside him, holding his hand. When he saw Maria standing at the door, smiling through bruises, he whispered, "Guess we did it." "You did," she said softly. "You saved me and the truth." A week later, the police commissioner personally visited Daniel to thank him for his courage. The department announced sweeping reforms, and Maria was reinstated with honors. As for Daniel, he returned to his quiet life, but things had changed. The city now saw him as more than a janitor. He was the man who had saved a cop, exposed corruption, and risked everything for what was right. One evening, as he and Lily walked by the river again, Maria joined them. The water shimmered in the sunset. Lily smiled. "Daddy, the river looks like diamonds again." Daniel nodded, holding her close. "Yeah, sweetheart." But some of them shine brighter after a storm. And though no one could ever forget what happened that night by the river, it became a story of courage, redemption, and the unbreakable bond between a father, his daughter, and the woman he refused to let die.